Let's get some political party reaction to the cabinet announcement last night. Musi Maimane, leader of Bold One South Africa. 24 hours ago, there were news pieces that Bold One South Africa, Musi, says that the door hasn't closed yet on a government of national unity that may include Bold One South Africa. Do you talk to me this morning as probably a soon-to-be member of the GNU, or are you officially part of the opposition still?
Good morning, and good morning to fellow South Africans. I mean, certainly we've been very clear that talking to people has never hurt, and ultimately we wanted to engage the ANC constructively, and we've always wanted to build that constructive opposition.
So this is a word that has been paraded by Action SA and Build One South Africa. Constructive opposition, constructive opposition. As I'm sitting here, I don't know whether to call Herman Mashaba and Musi Maimane arrogant. I don't know whether to call them ignorant, or I don't know whether to call them naive. This idea that Action SA and Build One South Africa can be constructive opposition in parliament, it is not going to work. And the reason why I'm saying that this whole constructive opposition thing is not going to work is because the parliament is divided right now. You have one bloc that consists of 11 political parties, and this bloc, it is the GNU, the Government of National Unity. You have another bloc on the other side that calls itself the Progressive Forces. And on this block, you have political parties like MK Party, EFF, ATM, and others. So Action SA and Build One South Africa are trying to stay in the middle. But what these people actually do not understand is that this position they have actually taken, it is going to destroy them in the long run. By claiming to be a constructive opposition, it means that if the GNU tables something that you understand, you're going to vote with the GNU. You remember last time, the chairperson of Action SA said that they met with the ANC to make it clear to the ANC that we are not going to be like these progressive forces, because we understand that EFF, MK Party, ATM, and others are going to oppose everything that is going to be tabled by this bloc of the Government of National Unity. But Action SA and Build One South Africa, they said, no, we are not going to be like these people. We are actually going to sit there and listen. If this thing makes sense to us, we are going to vote with these people. We are going to side with them. But the kicker comes because Action SA and Build One South Africa, they will never side on anything that comes from the progressive forces. Herman Mashaba, Athol Trolip, Michael Beaumont of Action SA, they made it clear that we want nothing to do with the MK Party and the EFF. We don't want anything to do with these people. So even if EFF or MK Party or ATM tables the motion on Palapala, Action SA is not going to vote with these people, knowing very well that maybe voting with these people, it is a proper position to take. But because they don't want anything to do with these political parties, they are not going to side with them. Do you know what that means? It means that Action SA and Build One South Africa are going to get the same treatment that political parties in the Government of National Unity are getting from the progressive forces. The progressive forces will never respect Musi Maimane. They will never respect Herman Mashaba. Even up in the elections, EFF, MK Party, ATM, they have already accused Action SA and Build One South Africa of getting money from the open aimers and stuff. So they already don't respect them. They already don't respect them. This is the reason why I said, if Musi Maimane and Herman Mashaba want their political parties to play the constructive opposition, they should have joined the Government of National Unity, understanding that in this block everything is going to be debated. everything is going to be voted on. So if they want to interact with the ANC constructively, they can do that while they are the partners of the government of national unity. Because by staying on the side, it actually exposes them to the hits that are about to come from the progressive forces. So the question comes, why didn't Action SA and Build One South Africa join the government of national unity? It's not like they are going to get any respect from their fellow opposition guys. They are not going to get any respect from EFF. They are not going to get any respect from MK Party. They are not going to get respect from ATM. They are not. Because MK Party, EFF and ATM, they will always treat Action SA and Build One South Africa the same way they treat political parties that are in the government of national unity. Because according to the progressive forces, all the political parties that are in the government of national unity are sellouts, because these political parties do not have a problem with working with the DA and working with the Freedom Front Plus. So if you work with these two political parties, it means that you cannot work with us. If you work with these two political parties, it means that you have already drawn the line on the sand, meaning that you don't want anything to do with us. So how is this constructive opposition is going to play out in parliament? How is it going to play out in parliament? Whereas these two political parties will never side with anything that comes from the so-called progressive forces. But if something has been tabled coming from the GNU, they are going to side with it. So why don't you join the GNU? Because that is the whole purpose of the GNU. It doesn't mean that all the political parties in the GNU are going to agree with the policy. It doesn't mean that everything that needs to be implemented, all the political parties in the GNU are going to agree with it. It means that some of the political parties in the GNU are going to disagree, and this whole thing is going to go on a vote. And if you have 60% plus, meaning that the motion goes on. So do you think that you're going to be able to interact with the ANC constructively when you are outside or when you are inside? Because when you are outside, one thing I can tell you is that the progressive forces are going to see you as the stumbling block. Because right now you have two blocks in the parliament, and these two blocks are trying to destroy each other, and you are sitting in the middle. So how long before you take the hit? How long is it going to take before the EFF says that these two political parties are pretending to be with us on the opposition benches, but these two political parties, they represent everything that we disagree with. These two political parties actually hate us. How long is it going to take before they start attacking you? So this whole constructive opposition thing, it is not going to work. It is not going to work. It is not. Because it doesn't have balance. You hate one side, and you kinda do not have a problem with the other side. The progressive forces, you don't want anything to do with them. The GNU, you can sit with them on the table. So why are you on the side? Because the sides have been picked. South Africans have, like even South Africans themselves, they have chosen. People, it's either they are on the government of national unity or people are on the progressive forces. Even South Africans themselves, they have chosen. Even if you go on social media, you can see that there are people that are actually supporting the government of national unity, and there are people that are supporting the progressive forces. So why do you decide to sit in the middle? Because sitting in the middle is not going to get you any respect. They are going to treat your political parties with the same treatment they give political parties that are in the government of national unity.
And I made it very clear that we'd call the president for a national dialogue and a convention, to which, as things have turned out, he has chosen, you're a sports fanatic, so I can appreciate, you would appreciate this analogy that says that he's effectively chosen a national team, unclear which tournament they're playing, who are the defenders, who are the strikers, but heck, we've got a team to go. So it feels like that the triumph in this instance is actually the ANC. To be able to lose an election and get 40% and manage still with the same number of cabinet effectively, and an increase in that executive tells me that how actually political parties have been outsmarted by President Cyril Ramaphosa, and he's achieved the stability of the ANC rather than, in fact, the stability of the country, if you think.
Man, I would push back on that. Musumaiman is, like, I love Musumaiman, but now you are telling the lies. You are telling the lies. Because you say President Ramaphosa has established the stability of the ANC, not the stability of the country. But that is a lie. Because inside the ANC, people are fighting inside the ANC. As we speak right now, there are internal fights within the ANC. The screenshots are leaking left, right, and center in social media, showing that the ANC is already divided. Because within the ANC, you have a huge bloc that hates the DA. You have a huge bloc, you have a lot of people in the ANC that hates the DA. And these people would have preferred the ANC to work with MK Party and the EFF instead of working with the DA and other partners in the government of national unity. So by President Ramaphosa choosing to work with the DA instead of working with EFF and MK Party, he has essentially divided the ANC. He has divided the ANC. So I would say that President Ramaphosa has established the stability of the country, because average South Africans do not have a problem with the decisions that were made by President Ramaphosa. But the comrades in the ANC, they have a problem with the decisions that were made by President Ramaphosa, because many comrades have lost their jobs. Many comrades have lost their jobs, they have lost their benefits. They have lost everything. So right now, there are internal fights within the ANC. We know it very well that there are people that are not happy about it. There are screenshots that were leaking, the likes of Andile Lungisa, the likes of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Like, those people are speaking out about the ANC working with the DA. Some of the ANC members are even threatening to leave because the ANC has decided to go in bed with the DA. So I would actually push back on that. When you say that President Ramaphosa has established the stability of the ANC over the stability of the country, I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I think this time around, President Ramaphosa has prioritized the country instead of prioritizing the party. Because if he wanted to prioritize the party, he would have just went with the popular move within the ANC, the move of working with the EFF and MK Party. This is what actually was popular within the ANC. So Ramaphosa faced a lot of pushback within the ANC when he wanted the ANC to work with the DA instead of these two political parties that have destroyed the ANC. Ramaphosa faced a lot of pushback within the African National Congress. So I honestly do not agree with you.
In that executive tells me that how actually political parties have been outsmarted by President Cyril Ramaphosa, and he's achieved the stability of the ANC rather than, in fact, the stability of the country, if you think about the absence of a plan and what it will deliver.
Musi, during your election campaign and through your activism, even before an election, focus very much on education in South Africa. I'd like you, and I know that you've worked with Siviri Kwahube within the Democratic Alliance. I know that there may also be a close personal friendship there as well. But your thoughts, particularly on what you have advocated for during the election campaign and the announcement of Siviri Kwahube as a basic education minister.
Man, you know, this is one of the reasons I gave that some of us are not happy with the fact that Musumaiman has decided to sit on the side instead of joining the government of national unity, because some of us actually understand that Musumaiman has a huge passion for education. Musi Maimane ran his campaign on transforming our education system. But he actually had a chance of joining the GNU. Who knows? Maybe Musi Maimane could have been the Minister of Higher Education or the Deputy Minister of Higher Education. Maybe he could have been the Minister of Basic Education or the Deputy Minister of Education. But who knows? Maybe. But all I'm saying is that if Musi Maimane had joined the government of national unity, he would have actually contributed a lot in this cabinet. And we do need people like Musi Maimane, which to me makes no sense why Build One South Africa decided not to join the government of national unity. It makes no sense to me. Because I believe that if Musi Maimane was put somewhere in the education sector, Musi Maimane was going to deliver because of his passion for education, because of his passion to transform the education system that we have. Musi Maimane always talks about what needs to be done to transform our education. Even when he was campaigning, Musi Maimane was already talking about how important it is for us to transform our education system. So if you have a chance, why didn't you join the government of national unity? Because maybe you could have been, you would have been working with Siviwe Kwarube right now as the Deputy Minister of Basic Education. Can you imagine Siviwe Kwarube, the Minister of Basic Education, Musi Maimane, the Deputy Minister of Basic Education? All of us will be looking to the transformation that you guys will be delivering. But instead, you decided to sit on the side and claim that you want to play the constructive opposition, instead of getting inside and actually contributing, showing South Africans that with the little that I have, I can contribute more. But you decided to be the constructive opposition. I still do not understand why Build One South Africa decided to be on the outside. I still do not understand.
Look, I mean, I think it's great to have Siviwe there. I think she's a proud patriot of this nation. I had the privilege of working with her, and certainly one South African I deeply respect and admire. She's in with a very difficult job, and we've advocated for an increase from 30 to 50%. Let's ensure that early childhood development actually works so that kids start school and finish school, and let's hold teachers accountable. So I certainly look forward to holding her accountable to those things and fighting that we skill this economy so that more and more people can in fact participate in an economy, because we know for a fact 90% of South Africans who are unemployed happen to not have a matric, which tells you that the first indicator to unemployment is school dropout. And if it's sitting at 40% nationally, this is an indicator of the crisis that we ought to be attending to.
I mean, like, when Musi Maimane says that we are advocating for the pass rate to go from 30% to 50%, we are advocating for this, we are advocating for that, he reminds me of the video that I did yesterday about Action SA. You remember Athol Trolip went on television and said that there was no need for Ramaphosa to have such a bloated cabinet, because it's going to be very hard for Ramaphosa to maintain this cabinet, and it's going to cost a lot of money. And he had ideas, and I said, man, you know, if Action SA was inside the government of national unity, maybe this is the conversation that you could have had with Ramaphosa and his people. But having this conversation on television actually makes no difference. It makes no difference when you have these ideas on how we're going to save money, on how everything is going to be run, but still decide not to go in government with the people that will be making the decisions. It makes no difference. Because right now, Action SA, it seems like one of those organizations that are going on live on national television just to complain about anything. This is the same thing with Musi Maimane. You know, Musi Maimane has ideas. He's advocating for this, he's advocating for that. He knows where the problems are. He knows where the problems are. He knows what needs to be done so that everything can be fixed. But for some reason, he decided to sit on the side. So what good does it make when you don't join the government of national unity and propose from the outside, what good does it make? What good does it make?
Musi Maimane, leader of Bold One South Africa. Let me go to
Because guys, you see this whole thing, man, of of the you see this whole thing of constructive opposition thing, man. I don't know how Hemene Mashaba and Musi Maimane are actually planning to make this thing work. I don't know how they are going to make it work, man. I don't know how they are going to make it work. Because they are instant enemies to the progressive forces. And it's only a matter of time before the progressive forces actually target these two political parties that will be standing in their way of destroying the government of national unity. Because once the progressive forces start with their opposing, they're going to oppose everything that is going to be tabled. And Musi Maimane and Hemene Mashaba are going to say, but these people are insane. These people do not even want to listen to what has been tabled. They are just opposing for the sake of opposing. They are just opposing because they hate what has been done, this government of national unity. So Musi Maimane and Hemene Mashaba, you are going to get the same treatment that ANC is going to get from MK Party and the EFF. You are not going to be different. They don't see you as different. They already attacked you during the campaign season. So I don't know if you guys think that by being outside of government of national unity and by playing this constructive opposition thing is going to help you. I don't know how you think it's going to help you. Because what you are going to get is attacks left, right, and center. Because you will be standing there in the middle of everything. So it makes sense for EFF and MK Party to destroy you before they actually destroy the government of national unity. It makes sense for EFF and MK Party to discredit you before they started discrediting the government of national unity. You are going to feel left out. They are going to make you feel like the enemies. This is how they are going to treat you. Even with the respect, they are not going to show you any sort of respect. Do not expect any respect from the EFF, MK Party, and ATM. Do not expect any respect from those people. They are going to crush you. It is going to be their mission to actually crush you. I don't know, guys, man. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Maba, so I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.